Hey guys, it's Charmeleon here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon WTF Moments, my absolute favorite part of the week, where I get to be an absolute arsehole and completely rip apart one of my favorite franchises. I just love being an arsehole. It's the greatest pleasure in life because I'm just so good at it. It's the only thing I know for 100% certainty in my soul that I'm good at, is being a bloody arsehole. So let's get this done. If you're a fan of WTF Moments and you're ready for more, make sure you hit that like button. Let's go for 2,000 likes. I'm bored of 1,000 like sub goals now. We've done it. We can do it. We clearly can achieve it. We can't do 2,000 though, can we? Prove me bloody wrong. 2,000 likes on the video. And of course, hit subscribe if you're new so you never miss an episode. Thank you as always for 1.37 million subscribers. Don't worry about the missing zero on the end. YouTube will sort it out if you hit the subscribe button. But without further ado, it's time to take a look at the WTF Moments of Pokemon Season 1, Episode 43, The March of the Exeggutor Squad. It's a bloody long title. We're starting off simple with the confetti in the opening scene, which pans to the left along with the camera. For some reason. Now I get why this is, because obviously animating confetti falling whilst a camera is moving past it is probably quite a difficult thing to do. But if that's the case, just don't have confetti falling then. It's not like confetti falling is a constant thing at carnivals and fairs anyway. Just leave it out if it's too much effort. Ash tells Brock,
"Let's show these people how to really party."
And then suddenly we see their clothes fly up into the air. Ease up lads, I don't think it's that kind of party. Oh no, never mind, it turns out they had full carnival outfits on underneath their regular clothes, just on the off chance they ended up in a town when the carnival was in town. You've got to admire the dedication to preparation, really, haven't you? Hey look, it's that gif everyone uses on Twitter when they're celebrating. I do this too. So the episode is called The March of the Exeggutor Squad. Bloody hell lads, fill the box, why don't you? I'm just saying, it's a bit of a mouthful. Why not have a clever pun like ain't that Exeggcute? Or even something simple like Melvin the Numpty. Oh, also the title's in all caps, so it's actually pronounced The March of the Exeggutor Squad! So this guy is begging this girl not to leave and saying that he'll pay her as soon as he can. And with the way he's basically kissing the floor at the woman's feet, you could easily mistake this for some kind of paid-for humiliation kink situation. Yeah, sadly there is a market for that kind of thing, and I don't really get it. Like, why pay someone to humiliate you when you could literally just upload a video to YouTube of yourself dancing to... Just fucking kill me, I can't believe I've just done that. My career's over. So the woman who's clearly part of this guy's show asks him who's gonna come and see your lousy show. I mean, if the show that you're part of is lousy, then doesn't that possibly mean that your performance in the show is also lousy? I'm just saying, maybe instead of just walking out, why not suggest some improvements to the act? Remember guys, if ever you're trying to convince a woman that you're not dating to continue working with you, don't rub your face against her bare thighs. It never ends well. I mean, statistically there is a teeny tiny chance that it may end really well, but you don't want to risk it. Police might be called. Misty, having seen this man be physically assaulted by his former assistant, asks him if he's alright. Oh, I'm fine, love. Happens all the time. The guy asks Misty, "You're a kind person, aren't you?" And Misty replies,
"Well, no, not especially."
Oh, I feel that on a personal level. The guy stands over Misty and says, "Please just listen. Keep an open mind." Oi mate, back off. She's a kid. It turns out the guy's name is Melvin, and he's a magician who dreams of having his own Las Vegas show. Las Vegas is in the Pokemon world? Who knew?
Well, actually, Liam, I think you'll find a lot of real-world places are referenced in Pokemon, like Misty dreaming about going to Paris and you being discovered in Guyana.
Wow, you must also have access to the internet too. You're so lucky. Misty agrees to be Melvin's assistant, but just for the day, and is thankful that there aren't that many people in the audience. That is until Ash and Brock turn up. First of all, don't you hate when that happens? When you're at work and you just want to do your job, but someone turns up that you know and they just seem to expect a conversation, and you're like, oh, I really kind of want to get back to work, but I don't want to be rude to you, and then you can't really tell them to F off, and they don't really get the hint that you want them to fuck off, and then they just keep sticking around. Oh, I'm having flashbacks. Oh, crikey. Also, where do Ash and Brock get off going to watch a magic show without even looking for Misty and Pikachu to see if they want to go watch it too? Bad friends, man. Bad friends. Ash says,
"That's a real cute outfit, Misty."
Did you hear that? That is the sound of 1,000 greasy Pokeshippers heading this way. Now, if we are going to look far too deeply into the dialogue of a children's cartoon, Clearly by the tone of Ash's voice, he's mocking Misty. But of course, given the average age of a Pokeshipper, like, they're not going to understand differences in tones of voice or whatnot. They're just going to take it word for word, literally, whatever is said. So It's not really worth arguing with him, is it? According to Dexter, even though Exeggcute appears to resemble an egg, it's actually known to be more closely related to the seed of a plant. Well then why is one cracked open like an egg with a yellow yolk-like liquid inside it? When getting ready for what Melvin thinks is his best trick, he has Pikachu creating sparks of electricity around him, but this is the first day Pikachu's worked with him, so how boring was his act before today? So raging fire was supposed to come out the end of Melvin's cane, but unfortunately he had performance anxiety. Has to happen to someone, mate. Rather you than me. Also, is this really your best trick? Anyone with half a brain could work out that that cane is probably hollow and has some kind of ignition source inside it that you will then trigger with the press of a button on the cane somewhere. I'm just saying, mate, that trick would still be crap even if it worked. So Melvin's fire trick turns out to be OP as fuck. Yeah, because that's not incredibly dangerous. Surely Melvin would have had to show each of his tricks to the carnival owner before he was allowed to perform them, so how did this pass health and safety? So Melvin's fire activates the sprinkler system and everybody gets soaked and starts throwing stuff at him, but somebody throws a slice of pizza. Who throws a perfectly good slice of pizza at someone? Even soaked by the sprinklers, it'd still be amazing. Don't waste pizza. You've been warned. Direct quote from Melvin.
Wait, don't go. The best part's just about to start.
Sounds like me during sex. Now, I already made a joke earlier in this series about someone with a mustache like that looking like Charlie Chaplin, so I guess this time I do have to compare his mustache to that of an Austrian-born dictator. But what was his name again? Oh yeah, Charlie Chaplin. So Melvin gets fired, and when Misty comes over to him, he drops to his knees, giving the writers an opportunity to throw in some fan service. Mate, that's fucking grim. She's 10.
Well, actually, Liam, some people believe Misty is actually 11 years old.
Who cares if it's 10 or it's 11? You're still confirming that she's a child, which means that bollocks like this is still creepy as hell. They could have easily just shown Melvin in this scene, or even a shot over Misty's shoulder, but they didn't. They made a conscious effort to have her squat down in a leotard right in front of the camera. I'm just saying, I'm always going to criticize adults that make the conscious choice to draw kids like this. And if you have an issue with that, maybe you're part of the problem. Maybe you're the person that this has been drawn for. If that is the case and you are one of those people, unsubscribe. We don't want you. Ash tells Melvin not to give up and says if the show's no good, then learn some new tricks. Wait a minute, how has Melvin himself never thought of this? Like, surely it's a no-brainer that if your audience are literally telling you that they don't enjoy your tricks, to maybe look up a few more. Melvin's a dumbass. Pass it on. Jesse and James sunbathing on top of their hot air balloons on precariously angled sun loungers has to be one of the most pointlessly dangerous things I think I've ever seen. Like, aren't they worried about melanoma? Direct quote from Jesse.
Wait till they see our bag of tricks.
Mate, in that bathing suit, we can already see your bag of tricks. Melvin transforms his cane into a bouquet of flowers, and everybody claps and clearly sounds impressed. Except for Pikachu, whose voice doesn't play for some reason, so he just appears to have some kind of facial spasm. After the flowers in his trick die, Melvin drops to his knees once again and starts whining on about how all he's ever wanted to do is be a magician and entertain people, blah, 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 blah. Mate, you've tried one new trick so far. Maybe try a few more before you go bloody giving up. Honestly, this defeatist attitude is really starting to grate on me. Ash decides the key to success is cultural appropriation, apparently. Yikes. So for Ash's trick, he has a box in front of him that he can command fire, water, or anything, because they couldn't think of a word for grass, to come out of said box. So Melvin chooses fire, and flames shoot out of the box and burn his face to a crisp. Then he applauds. I'm getting a little bit worried about Melvin. He seems a little too excited at the prospect of a fiery death. So it turns out Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle are all inside the box, and that's what's causing all the different elemental things to shoot forth from said box. But the problem is that it's too cramped, and Charmander's tail keeps burning the others, and a fight breaks out. And this is a perfect example of how Pokemon in the real world would just be too dangerous. Every home that had a Charmander in it would eventually end up burned to the ground. And don't even get me started on Typhlosion, bloody flames shooting out of its back every time it gets excited. And here's another example, the Exeggcute hypnotize Ash, and really easily too. If Psychic-type Pokemon can hypnotize humans so easily and command them to do whatever their trainer wants them to do, that could lead to some very disastrous situations if they existed IRL. I'm just saying, Ash's Bulbasaur impression was crap. He could have at least pretended to be left in a Pokeball on Professor Oak's desk like every other Bulbasaur in the 90s. Why they didn't make a bigger deal of this, I'll never know. Because this sign is only on screen for a couple of seconds right after the ad break, and as a kid, I always missed it. Apparently, what it's supposed to tell us is that this leaf forest, as Melvin calls it, has loads of leaf stones buried under the earth, and that means that any Pokemon that evolve via leaf stone that are touching the ground in that area will be exposed to like the leaf stone energy and therefore evolve. And that's why there are so many Exeggutor in the area when they really shouldn't evolve, because there's no leaf stones kind of in sight. It's just weird to me that they'd resign such an important detail to a 2-second image that can be so easily missed. In fact, there's an important thing I've not even mentioned yet, and that's G Fuel! Of course, it's bloody G Fuel. I'm drinking moon pie today, lads and ladettes and everything in between. It's beautiful. If you mix it with milk like I have, it tastes like a bloody caramel milkshake, which is wonderful. Caramel for the Americans. Code ACE is 30% off, by the way, right now, so you can get bags of money off your order just by using my code and helping out the channel. Ain't that great? Let's sip us some moon pie. Oh, good lord. Bit of milk on my lips, but oh, so good. It's so good. Let me have some more. I don't even mind the moon pie mustache. Misty and Brock are following Melvin's tracks, but why did they even let him take Ash in the first place? Surely when Melvin was setting up his little cart with Ash pulling it, they would have raised some concerns about the arrangement. Melvin mentions that Ash dreams of becoming a Pokemon master, even though Ash hasn't mentioned that to Melvin at all. I mean, I guess he could have asked Ash during the journey, and Ash would have told him then, or maybe the Exeggcute has told Melvin telepathically because it's reading Ash's mind? I don't know, it just seems weird for him to just suddenly know. Is it just me that can't hear
I want you to battle these Exeggutor for me
without thinking of the iDubbbz Tanamojo content cop? As per Ash's orders via Melvin and Exeggcute, Charmander, Bulbasaur and Squirtle all attack the Exeggutor, and then Melvin catches them all in Pokeballs. I feel like Charmander does most of the work here though, because let's be real, how much damage are Bulbasaur and Squirtle's not very effective moves really dealing here? Melvin catches what appears to be thousands of Exeggutor from the amount of Pokeballs that are behind him in this image, but there only seem to be like 50 to 100 in the forest alone. Maybe these are actually all the empty Pokeballs from failed catches? I don't know. Either way, how have all but 6 of the Exeggutor not been transported to a Pokemon lab? I guess Melvin really is a magician if he can have more than 6 Pokemon at once. Did I say magician? I meant hacker. Melvin's plan is to use all of these Exeggutor to hypnotize everybody at the carnival and command them to come and watch his magic show, which is quite a wholesome plan when you think about it. Like Melvin, mate, if you have the power to hypnotize everybody at the carnival, you don't even have to perform a magic show. You could literally hypnotize them into giving you all of the money that they have in their possession and then hypnotize them to leave a rave review of a magic show that they think they saw. Team Rocket actually pull off a decent disappearing act. Mate, they're in the wrong job. Direct quote from James to Melvin's Exeggcute.
Be quiet or I'll knock the cholesterol out of you.
James, mate, they're not actually eggs. Pay attention, lad. I think the animators might have made a little boo-boo here because Jessie's looking a bit, you know, either that or she's just been really skilled at sucking in a gut all this time and we've just not realized. Exeggcute starts to evolve, and kudos to the writers here because Exeggcute only touched the ground for the first time in this forest a few moments ago, which explains why it only evolved now and not when they arrived in the forest, because it wasn't on the ground, it was on top of the little cart. And I love that little bit of lore playing into the story. That's great. See, not all the WTF moments have to be mean. All the Exeggutor use hypnosis on each other and confuse themselves, because apparently they're all dumb as shit. Jeez, have they all got coconuts for brains or something? Yes. Yes, they do. So if the Exeggutor are so confused from the hypnosis that they all hypnotize each other and all 3 members of Team Rocket, why didn't they hypnotize Ash or Melvin? You've got to love the weird writing in this episode. Instead of the threat of the episode just being Exeggutor stampeding into town and destroying it, they had the Exeggutor stampede through town and destroy the carnival, and then come to a dead end that's just curved enough to turn them round 180, so that now the threat is them coming back into town and dishing out more damage. Why overcomplicate it like that? And also, didn't Melvin catch all these Exeggutor? Why doesn't he just go and grab all the Pokeballs and start returning all of the Exeggutor to them? So this bloke turns up again and says he's planted a time bomb that's set to go off the moment the Exeggutor reach this field. Jesus Christ, forget Charlie Chaplin, he really is the other guy, isn't he? Wait, also, how is this time bomb going to protect the town? This overhead shot clearly shows that the Exeggutor are going to have to go through the town to get to the field where the time bomb is. This whole story's a mess. Ash's Squirtle uses water gun on the Exeggutor and it seems to have no effect, and Brock points out that the Exeggutor are actually enjoying the water. That makes no sense. Earlier on, Squirtle's water gun was weakening the Exeggutor enough to be captured. Maybe Charmander really was doing all the work. Bulbasaur's Razor Leaf simply styles the leaves or hair of the Exeggutor, which kind of makes me wish we could do this in game, like with Furfrou or with the Let's Go partners. Also, yes, let's address the elephant in the room. These Exeggutor seem to have heads all the way around. I think 5 in total per Exeggutor, even though we know from the later games that Exeggutor just has 3 heads on the front of its body. Clearly the animators didn't get the memo here. Charmander's flamethrower successfully snaps some of the Exeggutor out of hypnosis, but Charmander is starting to get tired. Man, if only the gang had another fire-type Pokemon with them that could use flamethrower alongside Charmander. You know, like a Vulpix. Brock? Do you know anybody that might have a fire-type Pokemon, like a Vulpix? Brock's a lazy bastard, isn't he? Misty tells Melvin he needs to use his fire magic trick. You know, since someone won't send out their Vulpix. And Melvin gives it the old, but all I do is mess things up routine. I really can't stand this kind of attitude from people. Let's be real, people say stuff like this because they want people to respond with, oh no, don't be silly, you don't mess anything up. Mate, times like this are not for attention-seeking or compliment fishing. This is a time for action. I say times like these, like a herd of hypnotized walking trees stampeding through town towards a time bomb is some kind of regular occurrence where I'm from. It's not. Melvin and Charmander both use their fire to wake up all of the Exeggutor, saving the town, or what's left of it, and then just watch them walk away. Melvin, those are your Pokemon! Why are you letting them walk away from you? What about your dream? What about Vegas? The time bomb goes off at the edge of town. I hope the guy who planted it gets arrested, because that's terrorism right there. Melvin says,
Thank goodness no one was hurt.
sorry mate, but you can't be sure of that from that far away. The area wasn't even cordoned off. For all we know, an unsuspecting kid was playing in that field and just got blown to smithereens. Charmander evolves into Charmeleon, my personal favorite of that evolution line. Took a while for those experience points to come through though, didn't it? Someone must have forgot to press A. Ash hugs Charmeleon and Charmeleon almost burns off one of Ash's ears, and everybody just kind of chuckles about it like, oh you. Dude, a kid nearly got melted. That's not funny. As they say bye to Melvin, Brock says,
See you in Vegas!
but that's made me realize Melvin's story didn't even get resolved. He's still out of a job, like he hasn't been rehired after the fire incident, and sure, he successfully used his raging fire trick, but he already did that earlier and that's what caused him to be fired. So he's completely jobless and 50 of his own Pokemon have just ran off back into the forest. This guy's fucked. Meanwhile, Team Rocket are still trapped within the herd of Exeggutor, so if they can just keep track of where the Exeggutor are and where they end up, they can go and get Melvin's Pokeballs that are still probably left in that field, come back and just steal all the Exeggutor. Team Rocket actually have a real chance here to pull off this heist between episodes, and the narrator's just ignoring it. So those are my WTF moments of Pokemon Season 1, Episode 43, The March of the Exeggutor Squad. Let me know your favorites and any that I missed down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Come and hang out with us on Twitch over at twitch.tv/AceTrainLiam and be a subscriber over there. Use code ACE for 30% off G Fuel, and until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.